Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emily. I came to Maryhurst in 1988. I did not grow up in poverty. I did not grow up with parents addicted to drugs or alcohol. I did, however, grow up in a middle-class family rampant with domestic abuse. My father was full of rage and could become violent in an instant. My mother, brothers, and I were all victims of his abuse. When I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with cancer. I remember being terrified. I could sense the emotions of my parents and family, all of whom feared I would die. My tumor was successfully removed, and I have since been cancer-free. When I was 8 years old, my mother attempted suicide on Valentine's Day, and I found her on our basement floor unresponsive. Once again, I was terrified, this time that my mother was dead. She was taken to the hospital where her stomach was pumped, she recovered, and was sent to Our Lady of Peace. Like most things in our family, it was swept under the rug and not talked about. That's when my parents divorced. All of this trauma felt so heavy for me. As you can imagine, I was a sad and depressed kid. I thought I must be unlovable. I desperately wanted the love and affection of my mother, and she was too broken. Thus began my journey into substance abuse. Fast forward, and after many years of using, rehab, group homes, and detention, I ended up at Maryhurst when I was 15. I wish I could say a miracle took place at that time, but it didn't. I wasn't entirely ready to make the needed changes that would have spared many more years of pain. I wasn't ready to give up what I believed was my solution, alcohol, and I ended up in prison at 19. It wasn't until I truly conceded to my innermost self that I was an alcoholic that my life began to change. What I can say stuck with me from Maryhurst was the sincere reaching out of staff that took a genuine interest in me. One of them, Stephen Farr, is here today. In July 2003, 15 years after my first introduction to Maryhurst, Stephen hired me as a youth counselor. I know that if Stephen and Maryhurst hadn't opened this door, I wouldn't be here today. Working with the girls at Maryhurst was a dream, and then it became my passion. As a result of that door being opened, I applied for and received full restoration of my rights and felony expungement. I also went on to complete my education and became a licensed clinical social worker, where I now operate a community mental health center and have a private practice. Because of the hope that was instilled in me by Maryhurst, I was able to mend the relationships with my family. I was able to forgive and eulogize my father, show up and be a loving big sister to my brothers, be an awesome aunt to my nephews and niece. And most especially, I was able to show my mother how to accept my love and in turn receive that love from her. In September, my mom and I are taking a spiritual journey together as we walk the Camino de Santiago from France to Spain. As long as there is hope, there is always room for a journey. My heart is full and my gratitude immense. I stand before you, a journey of hope.